I feel like a brand new woman. Welcome to Candy's Homestead. I'm Donna. I'm doing an update today because I have had a few people ask me to do an update and let everybody know how I'm doing with my health. Now, a few videos ago, I posted about me having trouble with my knees, and honestly, I've had trouble with more than just my knees. For the past entire year and a half, it has just been one thing after another that has set me back constantly. And I've been working on these issues, trying to get over them so that I could get my gardening back on track. My gardening is so out of whack, it's not funny. It started last year with vertigo. I went the entire summer dealing with vertigo that was so bad I couldn't stay upright, and it made me sick, nauseous, and I was sick on my stomach a lot. Any movement was terrible. That kept me from being able to work on my garden like I normally would have. So last year's gardening season was basically a bust, all at the same time that we were going through a major kitchen overhaul because of a flood we had. That was a challenging summer, the entire summer. And I was going to the doctor for the vertigo. They've not found an answer as to what brought it on and why I was having it, and they have not fixed it. I have, through the help of physical therapy, learned ways to not trigger it. There are certain movements that if I make, it will trigger the vertigo and bring it on. And I've learned what those movements are through bad experiences mainly, and I've learned not to do them. The most difficult thing that I have to do is wash my hair in the shower, because leaning backwards, just leaning my head backwards will trigger it sometimes, and that has proven to be a little challenging in the shower. But other than that, I've learned how to not move too rapidly from left to right or tilting my head, and that's under control. It's not cured, but it is under control. So I have dealt with that. I'm considering that a non-issue anymore because I have very, very few and far between episodes that I'm dealing with now. In the middle of the vertigo issue, I started having extreme back pain. It's the L3 and L5 disc. Well, physical therapy has got me through that, and my back feels wonderful most of the time. Now, I can overdo it with working and it'll aggravate it, but that has become a non-issue as well over between last fall and to now. A lot of work in physical therapy, and I'm gonna tell you, physical therapy has been wonderful for me. I know a lot of people don't like to go, but it sure has helped me with these issues. The next issue that started coming up also while my back started hurting was my knees, and they were getting so bad, so painful, that up until recent I was having trouble just taking steps. I had gotten to the point where I just did not want to get up and do anything. It hurt so bad, it was extreme pain. I've been in physical therapy for that, and it's both knees, and I've had x-rays. I have not had an MRI yet. My insurance requires 4 to 6 weeks of physical therapy, and I just started physical therapy specifically for my knees just a few weeks ago. But my physician is going to refer me to orthopedics not until I have done the required physical therapy sessions. And that's okay too, because I've been in physical therapy now for so long, I feel like a piece of furniture there. I enjoy going because when I leave physical therapy, I feel great, at least for a day or so. Now, there's been a lot of banter back and forth between the doctors and physical therapy as to what the issue is with my knees. They have floated a bunch of opinions, but nothing is concrete, except my x-rays showed that I am starting to get osteoarthritis in my knees. Both the doctor and physical therapy believe that I have somehow, some way torn the meniscus in both knees. I didn't do it at the same time, but I'm a person famous for not going to the doctor. When something hurts or aches, I just keep moving forward and try to deal with it on my own. But they think that perhaps if they are torn, that I did one, and then favoring that, I put excess wear and tear on the other one, and possibly due to age as well, them being worn out and just wearing down, that I ended up tearing the other one as well, and then the two collided with extreme pain and got me down, because then I didn't have any good knee to walk on. And I have been dealing with the knee factor for almost a year, until it came to a screeching halt recently, to where I was in excruciating pain and I could not handle it anymore. Now, when I went to physical therapy, which is every week, when I come back, I feel better. They tape me up, put the sports tape on. That I'm doing a lot of exercises. I won't call them extreme for the average person, but for me in the shape I was in, they were extreme exercises, which made me very sore for a few hours after. But then that evening, wonderful. And the next day, better. But it didn't last long, and I'd be right back to excruciating pain. It got to the point I was looking forward to going to physical therapy, because I knew that was my only relief, was doing those exercises. Now, in physical therapy, they also found another problem that did not create this problem, but has added to the pain. They found that my quads are super, super tight. And I did complain to my physician that not knowing that that's what it was, quads, that my upper legs, that it felt like the muscles in my legs were so tight that if I bent my leg, it felt like something inside was going to snap. They didn't pick up on it, physical therapy did, and they could feel the knots in my quads, and they could tell how tight they were. So they started working on my quads as well. And besides doing exercises for the quads, they had this huge heavy metal tube that had a lot of weight to it that they rolled up and down my quads, and they laughed because they could feel the knots in my quads releasing. I could feel it. It felt like little crunchies going on under my tissue. And it reminded me of how you sit around and pop those little bubbles in the plastic, and just pop, pop, pop. That's what it felt like when they were rolling my quads. But boy, what relief that was. I could bend my knees and my legs without the extreme pain. I don't know how I got in that shape. I don't know how that happened, but it was on both legs, and they're still tight, but a lot looser than they were. I can lift my leg and I can bend my leg back and forth without that extreme pain. I still feel tightness, but that was a contributing factor as well to being able to walk, because they said it kept the kneecap from sliding back and forth like it's supposed to when you bend and move, because there was so much tightness. That was amazing to me that they figured that out and started working on it. And man, what a difference. And that brings me up to this past week. I went this past week after refusing for a little while. My physicians wanted me to get some cortisone shots in my knees. They said that that would carry me through to the fall, when that's probably, I'm not going to get into orthopedics until the fall. And my doctor said, is probably needing to come down to having surgery on my knees. What type, I don't know, because they've thrown out a bunch of different, from knee replacement to just going in there and cleaning things out and smoothing things out. I don't like the thought of that. If it comes down to it has to be that, well, I'll do it, but that's not my first choice. Neither was getting cortisone shots. I've heard bad things. I know some people who have had cortisone shots in different locations for different reasons, and it didn't work out, and they ended up having some sort of problem later from those cortisone shots. But then I got to the point of extreme and desperation. My physician assured me over and over and over that was not going to be the case with me, that they were going to do the shot in the void behind the kneecap, and that stuff would stay there. It won't move to the bone, or it won't cause any future problems, and that it would be almost instant pain relief and would last 3 to 6 months, and that depends on the person. Well, I said no for a while, and just, I just couldn't let myself do it. But then I got to the point of desperation, and I said, yes, do something, anything. I can't handle this pain anymore. So I went in and I had the shot in both knees on Monday. Today, what is today? Today is Wednesday. I had it done on Monday. That was interesting altogether as well, because I haven't had a lot done to me over the years. I've had one shoulder surgery and one ankle surgery, and that's it. I've got all my pieces and parts, never had anything removed. So I'm not really experienced in their terms and procedures and things like that, but they said a shot, so I just figured a shot, like you go in and get a flu shot. Well, I've had flu shots, so I just thought that's what I'm going to do. So they scheduled me to come in on Monday. I get there and they say, well, we're going to take you to the procedure room. Well, I didn't know what the procedure room was. I knew where the room was where they give everybody their shots, whether it's for school or, updates, vaccinations, or even the flu shot. But no, they wanted to take me to this procedure room. I got into the procedure room. A doctor comes in and explains all what they're going to do. Well, this is starting to sound like surgery. And I asked, I said, this is like a lot for just a shot. And they started telling me, well, it's not just a shot. It's an actual procedure. So I was kind of getting a little shaky in the knees, as they say. But I was going to go along with them, like, well, let me see what's going on. I wasn't prepared for what they were going to do. They ended up bringing 5 people into the room for observation, and then a guy called the big boss. I don't remember his name and his position, but they introduced him as the big boss, and then there was 2 doctors. And then they bring in a sonogram. They use the sonogram, so that they explained to me, so that they can go in precise where they want to put this cortisone and medicine. And the cortisone also had some Novocaine in it. They weren't just going to just give me this shot in the side of my knee like I had imagined, but they were going to go in between certain layers of the tissue and get to a certain precise point within the kneecap in the void area. And they used a sonogram to find their way in there with the needle. And when I say find, they went fishing. They went gouging and fishing. It was excruciating. It hurt like crazy. I was not happy with that. But within a minute or two after they came out with the needle, my knees felt no pain. It was wonderful. Oh, it was so good. I was able to get up walk around the room. They wanted me to move about gently for a little bit and test it and see how it went. And they told me it wasn't going to be 100% pain-free right away. It would take a few days. Well, it was pain-free right away. But they did not want me to move about a lot and told me to go home and for a few days, maybe even up to a week, don't do much, don't walk it off. Like, just do minimal stuff around the house. And I have tried to do that because I didn't want to, they said too much walking could displace the medicine until it settles in. Ginger, move please. My cat wants to, she always wants to bump the tripod. Please don't bump it. So anyways, now I'm up to current moments. I want to tell you, my knees are pain-free. I feel like a brand new woman. The pain was starting to radiate down my shin and up my upper leg, that it had gotten that bad. And now I have no pain whatsoever. I feel like a Wonder Woman. You know, I feel like I could go out and just do so much, but I'm going to do minimal because that's what they said, and I do not want to go backwards in all of this. So that's where I'm at. I feel great. My back feels really good. The vertigo is under control, although not cured, and my knees are not in pain. So from this day forward, I'm going to get back into my gardening. I'm settled in the fact that I have to just chuck the garden that I have because I've not been able to go out there and tend to it. Little by little, and y'all know, if you're gardening, you know it don't take much. The gardening has failed. All it takes is taking your eye off of it for a very short while, and the weeds grow up, the fruit ripens, you don't get it off, and I mean, it's just all, it's out of control. And it's so far out of control now, I don't think I can salvage anything. I think I'm going to have to go out there and just pull most of the plants out. Now the flowers are doing fine. I've got flowers in between everything in my garden and flowers here and there. It's a mixed garden. But for the most part, most of my tomato plants are hideous with a lot of rotting tomatoes. My pepper plants are doing fine. I have harvested my paprika peppers. That's a continuous. I have managed to go out there and get a basket full at a time and dehydrate that into powder. I have done a video on that because it's not a complicated process and it didn't need a how-to step by step, so I did a short video on that. I have some bell peppers that are just the yellow bell peppers. My red bell peppers did nothing and they actually died. So all I have in plants are my yellow large bell peppers. I noticed yesterday they're starting to turn yellow, so those are doing fine. Although I don't feel like the plants have matured as large as they normally do. They were a little stunted. Might have been something in the soil. I didn't tend to it, so I don't know. I didn't test that soil. I've done very little to even help those things grow, but they are growing, they are producing, and they are maturing to that yellow state. I'll probably be able to pick a few in a couple of days. My okra is embarrassing. That's all I can say, because you know, okra, you want it like this, but if you miss it by a day, then it becomes like this. It's as bad as zucchini and eggplant. If you don't get it on time, the okra is embarrassing. I will probably not cut that down and pull it out, but I'm gonna have to go out there and cut everything off just to see if anything else will grow. It might be to the point that the plant thinks it's time, you know, to give it up. I don't know. I will keep that. I had a lot of broccoli that I lost a while back. That's been gone for a while because of the heat, the bugs, and my lack of tending. What else do I have out there that has gone bad? Basically, for a while, like, I did go out there and I watered and I tried to tend to things, but then the weeds started taking over and my knees started getting so bad I couldn't hobble around. And it's not a small garden, it's a large garden. So it became more than I could handle and tend to, and I've had to just let it go. My tomato plants inside my greenhouse I've got one. That one has done well. Not a problem with that. I was able earlier in the season to harvest potatoes, and I harvested collards. I got a few pieces of the broccoli before it went bad, but basically I didn't get enough to really mention. My green beans, they're still producing. I'm gonna have to clean those plants off and get rid of the oversized green beans. I might get a few small ones, but I need to just clean those off and clean some weeds out. I don't want to throw those away because they're still healthy. I just need to find them in the weeds. Maybe I'll be able to do that, I don't know. I've got some beefsteak tomatoes that are doing well, only because they're in a new area where there was no possibility of weeds taking over, and they're doing well. But all in all, I am thinking that I'm just going to go out there and plow through this garden and chuck most of it and just ready the garden to rest for the fall. I probably am not going to, there may be something that I decide I need to plant, but if I'm going to do it, I need to do it like now. But I'm not even sure that I'm needing to do that. Really, I just need to reset. I need to reset me. I need to reset my garden and get everything in good shape for the next gardening season come the end of winter. Through the winter, I will probably concentrate on some cooking and preserving videos, because I have brought in a lot of tomatoes and I have put those in the freezer because I could not tend to them at that moment. I didn't want them to go bad, so I do have a lot of tomatoes in the freezer. I've got a lot of elderberries in the freezer, and I've still got more elderberries to go harvest. And I will put those in the freezer until I can tend to those as well. So I do have a lot of things to do for the winter, which will be making salsas and some broths, and I will have videos through the winter for that, plus some cooking videos. But all in all, the garden is a bust. I feel like I could go out there right now and whip that garden into shape just today alone. I feel that good. But knowing where I was prior to Monday with the extreme pain that I've been in, I'm going to take it easy. Ginger, get down. I'm going to take it easy. I don't want to overdo it because I don't want to bring back that pain. I don't want to be in such a hurry that I step wrong and create a new problem or reactivate the existing problem with my knees. So I am going to be careful, and we'll take it easy, and we'll do things in baby steps until I know I have gotten all of my strength back. Now, as I said earlier in the video, these cortisone shots are going to last, they say, between 3 and 6 months. It's dependent on the person, and I've never had them before, so I don't know how long it's going to last. They said it will carry me through until I see the orthopedic in the fall. They also said I can get them twice a year if I'm not ready to have surgery and they think I need surgery. I got a lot to think about. On one hand, I'm thinking, well, if it'll get me through 6 months, then in 6 months I'll go back and do it again, and then that's another 6 months. But on the other hand, if it turns out that I need to have something done with my knees and it's important to do, then I will do it. But I still have a lot to think about, and I'm going to wait and see how this goes. So for now, I'm going to take it easy, and I'm going to just do little things and try to get my garden back into shape. Not for growing, but so it can rest. Hey, Ginger. Well, that's it for this update, and I will be back soon with another video, and I'll show some progress. By the way, the flowers that I planted at my pond are doing great, and I haven't had a chance to show that. The pond is looking good. I haven't seen the frog. I suppose that he is doing well. I didn't put any chemicals in it. It's not algae free 100%, but the water is getting cleaner. So I will do some updates on how the garden is coming along with my clean out and revamp, but I doubt there's going to be a lot to show with anything that can be harvested. Maybe a few things. So I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all on the next video. Bye-bye.